Lord Ganesha bless me with humble, respectful pranams to the listener. And now, from the wild, wacky, weird world of pandemonium, for being such patient readers or listeners of the trilogy of weird stories from the Ramayana, another fourth short story from the Ramayana as a bonus dividend. Title of the story: How Queen Sita Was Born. By Jove, never heard of it. Weird stories. Our story starts with all the good guys ganging against that 10-headed villain Ravan. All the sages and rishis were fed up of Ravana's tyrannical and lustful nature. So they undertook a havan or yajna, which is an ancient word to denote a research project to get a predetermined result, which was carried out specifically with an aim to create the energy or force destined to kill Ravana. Now, Ravana's spy network informed him of the hush hush going ons, and naturally enraged, he at once attacked and destroyed the Yajna site and its associated paraphernalia, that is, the various items and ingredients of the Yajna. However, the yajna had already been completed before his attack and had resulted in the appearance of a golden urn in which the energy or force destined to kill Ravan was stored. Ravan confiscated the urn and brought it to his palace in Sri Lanka for safe keeping. But as luck would have it, when husbands are too secretive, they are at once spotted on their wives' radar. Similarly, Ravana's wife Mandodari at once asked him why he was hiding the urn and what its contents were. At this point of the story, there are two versions. One version is that Ravan tells Queen Mandodari the truth, that it contains a deadly poison created by the rishis and specifically meant to kill him. Queen Mandodari, being the ever dutiful and loving wife with the logic, better me than you, drinks the poison herself, so that she is sure it won't harm her husband Ravana. The other version differs only to the extent that Ravana doesn't tell her the true intent of the poison to maintain his goody goody image in front of her. Or maybe Ravan, a bit angry with the frequently asked abundant and unnecessary questions of his ever inquisitive wife, only replied in a huff that it was a deadly poison, and left for another crazy raiding expedition for which he would be absent for a few months, perhaps mainly to evade and avoid more such mind numbing wild queries. Now, Queen Mandodari had been very depressed because of her husband's evil ways and had failed miserably to dissuade or stop him despite her best efforts. So, it was no surprise that in Ravana's absence, Queen Mandodari was contemplating to commit suicide. Remembering the hidden urn with the deadly poison, Mandodari at once opened it and without any hesitation drank it all up in one gulp. Well, maybe she sipped it slowly, but my zero experience with seriously sincere suicide committers suggests that they don't dilly dally while drinking their poisonous potions. However, both divergent versions agree that whatever be her intent or reason, the final culmination or end result was that Queen Mandodari drank the deadly poison herself. A few days later, after having drank the poison, Queen Mandodari started having bouts of nausea and giddiness. Happy that the poison was having effect and that she would soon die a nice, painful, torturous death, Queen Mandodari was rejoicing and congratulating herself on a smart thinking. However, after a few days, her womanly instinct took over, and she began suspecting that the cause of her morning sickness was not a slow death due to the poison, but rather a certain unmentionable something else. After an ultra secret pregnancy test, her worst fears were confirmed. Mandodari was shocked with the realization of her pregnancy. She was an extremely chaste and pious woman, and any thought of infidelity to her husband had never crossed her mind. Indeed, Mandodari is even to date considered to be one of the Pativratas or most chaste, pious, and pure woman in thought, word, and deed as per Hindu mythology. So, in Ravana's absence, how could she get pregnant? Perplexed by the strange happenings, Queen Mandodari acted like all prudent, wise women do. While they are most curious and inquisitive, and given a chance or scope, interfering too about happenings in other people's lives, they are very secretive and selectively silent about their own life. So also the wise Queen Mandodari went on a pilgrimage with a few select of her trusted maids. After a few months, on her way to a holy place, when she was near the city of Mithila, she went into labor and delivered a beautiful baby girl. Putting the newborn baby in a golden box, she instructed her maids to bury it not very deep in the earth in the royal fields of Mithila. And the royal entourage of Queen Mandodari returned back to Sri Lanka with no one any wiser about these weird happenings. Now, a few hours later, as was the custom of those times, His Royal Highness Mr. Janak, the King of Mithila city, along with his queen, started the first ceremonial seasonal ploughing of the royal fields amidst much fanfare. Wonder of wonders! After a few furrows, his plough struck something solid and unearthed the not so deeply buried golden box. On opening it, the royal couple beheld the most beautiful baby girl they had ever seen. They took her home as a sign of blessings from Mother Earth, and as she was found in a furrow, named her. Yes, yes, yes. You win, dear smart listener. They named her Sita. She was the same Sita who grew up, married Rama, was kidnapped by Ravana, and eventually became the cause of Ravana's death. Yadna results successful after 21 years. Also, there is a side angle. Ravana committed the ultimate sin of incest by having a lustful eye on Sita, who by birth was related to him as his foster daughter. Hence, his death was hastened and made easier to accomplish. It also explains why Queen Mandodari was so protective and concerned about Sita during her stay in Sri Lanka. Weird, isn't it? Moral of the story: curiosity kills. If you're destined to die, you will die, no matter how hard you try not to. Que sera, sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. आमची गोष्ट सरो, तुमची पोट भरो. आमची गोष्ट आखूड, तुमच्या पाठीत लाकूड. May my story be short and simple. May your kids be born with a dimple. May your day be sweet and sunny. May your kids be fat and funny. Author's note: 1. I request the reader or listener to take the story in a lighter vein with a pinch of snuff and a sackful of salt. The author sincerely does not wish to offend or hurt anyone's feelings and tenders an unconditional apology if anyone has been offended by the story. Note number 2. This story is specially and sincerely dedicated as a gesture of gratitude to my three elder brothers, Captain Naresh Vaidya, Captain Vivek Nachane, Mr. Subodh Raje, and their respective wives and families for tolerating and supporting this wacky, crazy, cranky author, Parag Raje. Bonus weird story. How was Queen Sita born? Complete. Thank you, dear listener, for bearing with me.